What is up, guys, and welcome back to the CapeCast, episode 2. We're back with episode 2. This is more like what our cadence is going to be. We should have these coming out every Friday. Last week, we had a little bit of a hiccup, so we dropped it on Monday, which worked out pretty well. And again, thank you guys for checking that out, leaving comments. Loved all of the interactions, and make sure if you haven't done it for that one, go check out episode 2 over on GC's channel. Same thing here with this episode. We're going to have 3 of our topics over here, 3 of them over on GC's channel. So make sure you follow the video. Link will be down in the description to do that. So with that being said, we've got a few good topics today. The first video, we're going to be talking about the Superfam event. We're just going to be reviewing it. We talked about the event in general last time, but now that it's over, we're going to talk about our feelings about it, where we got our cryptos and all of that. And speaking of crypto, we're going to be talking about Krypto and Friends. So crypto, the different teams, how we've been using them, where we think he kind of shines. And because he's one of those great supports, yeah, we're going to be taking him over into a tier list specifically around the supports, talking about all the different ones. So we had Crypto, Raven, Ivy, Green Lantern, all those different healers, all those different supports, kind of talk to them a little bit, put them in some rankings and having some fun there. And that'll wrap up our episode, or part 1 of episode 2. And then we're going to jump over to GC's channel in the next half. GC's got some good stuff, because if you guys are new to the game or you don't really know how to, optimize Supreme Commander, rifts, things like that, we're going to be talking about Supreme Commander Day 1. We're going to break that into a section. So each video, we're going to be digging into each of the days, kind of breaking those down, giving our thoughts on them, talking about rifts, what's some strategies around rifts, whether it's yourself personally, how you do it with your league, all that good stuff, because I know there's a lot of information out there, and I'm not sure if everybody understands what's maybe the best way or just a really good way to get as much out of that. And then lastly, we're going to be talking about some characters we wish were in the game. There's a lot of DC characters that aren't here yet. We're going to be talking about those. How you doing, GC?
I'm doing great, Dan. It's great to be here. Still playing the game, still really enjoying it. I've been enjoying the combat cycles, trying to run through the training simulator. And we've gotten to a point again where I just don't have the resources to keep leveling up. So there's always something for me to do, something for me to invest in, which is really, really a beauty of this game. I'm curious, how many, we're going into the Superfam event. Sorry to just jump right into it, but
no, you're good.
I'm looking at my inventory here. I've got 1 tennis ball just hanging out. How many spares did you end up with?
So I ended up with, I think, 11 spares. So slightly off to be able to get the 20. Again, at reset, we should be getting compensated for that, probably gems or something like that. But yeah, it was, speaking of that part about it, I was really excited that they gave us ways to use tennis balls in the exchange, because I did actually max out my whole tennis balls for crypto.
Now, was that in the shop at the beginning of the event? Because I don't remember seeing it. And then I went towards the end of the event. I was like, what am I going to do with these spare tennis balls? And I was like, oh, excellent. Yes, I'll absolutely. So yeah, that was excellent. I'm very happy to have seen that.
Yeah, I think that was, again, one of the good things about this game is the devs are very plugged in, and they're listening to the community 24/7. Because one of the first 2 days, I think it was Ravenheart over in the Discord, was posting up. He had already finished all of the crypto stuff on like day 2, and then he had like 100 more tennis balls, because I think everybody was just flooding him with everything. And he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. I can't give them away. Wish I would have known, because I know even in our group, the first day we pushed everybody to donate to one particular person, and then we went to another person. We kind of moved down the line in the league, and when that happened, even our person was like, I told everybody to quit giving them to me, and I'm still getting them every day. Even though he was maxed. So they listened to us, and they added it to the shop to where we could exchange those just for straight crypto shards. And I thought that was really cool of them.
Yeah, that was really excellent. I really enjoyed the Superfam event. I'm gonna be honest, that the most tempted I've been to try to just break the free to play, because like I had a couple of, like, I think I'm gonna end up with 10 extra or maybe 20 extra. I got extra crypto shards, right? So I was really tempted to do a little bit of some sort of purchase, try to get those extra shards, get that one more star. But we're free to play here. We're staying free to play. So I didn't do that. But I'm hoping maybe if it's future banner he returns, or if they just end up putting him in mother boxes or something. But I'm hoping to see some future crypto shards, because he's right on the edge of a new star.
Yeah, and talking to some of the people over in the Discord, including some of the community managers and things like that, they did hint at the fact that he should be coming to boxes again. Time frame, things like that, we're not sure, but I would imagine it shouldn't be too long, at least to get him in the mother boxes. What we've seen with a lot of characters are when they come out, they end up there pretty quickly, but then it may take a little bit of time to get into the selectors, as well as the ambles and things like that. But honestly, I think they're getting more on top of that type of stuff and how to get those characters there. So it wouldn't surprise me. Again, this will be coming out Friday morning, so should have some patch notes pretty soon, just because Superfam event just ended, so they got to let us know what's next. So I'd imagine whether it's today or this weekend, we get some patch notes or something that shows us where they're at with that. Even if it's not saying it's now, it may tell us like, hey, in the future, that's what's coming, because they are really good about telling us what's in the future. But I would agree with you. I think that this event, like we talked about last week, I think it hit all the marks. Like it gave us everything we wanted and some that we didn't even ask for. We were excited about. So,
yeah, it's like I say, it was a great event for me to run into as a new player, and I honestly, when I saw the option in the shop were you buying shards? I think maybe it was buying crypto shards.
Yeah,
maybe you were buying anvil. I forget what it was. It was shards, right?
Yeah, you could buy crypto shards, you could buy anvils, but they did have just straight up 2 different levels of crypto shards.
Right. But I meant for the tennis balls. I think it was crypto shards that you could purchase. It was. And when I first saw that pop up in the shop, I straight up just assumed I didn't see it the first time. So having spoken with you and seeing where their events have evolved from, hearing about like the first time we played and seeing these cosmetic options, right? We had talked about that, and I really love the fact that yes, the cosmetic options in there, it's got stat bonuses, but I didn't feel any sort of bad way about just chilling on that and not worried about it. So I think it was a good compromise there. And then again, having that option pop into the shop, it really is kind of set an expectation to me as a new player that these devs are listening and that they can adapt quickly. So I hope that expectation holds true continuing through my journey here. But if this is a way, if Superfam event is any indication to future events, I'm all for it. I am all for it. This was a blast.
And I've got hopefully coming out probably Saturday. I'm going to put out my full thoughts and everything on the event, breakdown of what I thought about it. Maybe even some places where I think maybe it could improve in a couple areas. But again, like I said, I think that they knocked it out of the park on all those different things. And just one more thing I want to add as we transition to the next one is when you're looking at those stores, I know GC, you mentioned the skins and things like that, and they are trying to make those more appealing because a lot of people did not get them in the last few events. But I still say, even with stat bonuses, and even if those stat bonuses were good stat bonuses, I still think where you are free to play or anybody that's a very minimal spender, I think you have to go after the ones that are the value. So whether it was the crypto shards, it was the anvils, so you can get those banner characters and things like that. Like that has to be your focus in these events. If you're a medium spender or a high spender, I get it. You can use your 3,000 credits on that. You can go after ship parts or different areas like that. But I think if you're that free to play or that small, even maybe medium spender, I really think in games like this, you need anvils. You need to go after banner characters. You need to get those banner characters high stars. Like that should be really your number one priority until you get to the point that You've bought all the cheap ones. Now you have the expensive ones. And with that, maybe you pick selectors. You get some of the other stuff that's going to, again, build up that team and help you out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that it's flat stat bonuses, but you're absolutely 100% on there, right? As free to play, I got to get new characters. I've got to be collecting resources that I can spend, which generate more resources to keep that momentum going. You know, I could see, you know, if you're not, you could be left behind really quickly if you're focusing cosmetics or if you're focusing just base stats. I mean, stats sound great, right? But what are those stats going? They're not going to scale in the same way as new characters, new banners come out. And you've got to stay with that because the meta of the server is going to change as more characters are available to everybody. And your original team from month one is just not going to cut it the way you want it to.
Absolutely. So one thing I do want to bring as we continue to transition and go through this, we talked about the fact that we got crypto. We actually got decent cryptos. You know, as we talk about the event and the fact that we got crypto, like realistically, people got good cryptos. Like mine ended up at 4 purple. Yes, there was a little bit here and there that was invested in like the super cheap level 1 packs or whatever. But even if you didn't, like a 2 blue, even a 4 blue was very possible if you got a lot of people giving you gifts and you got crypto that way. You picked up the shards in the event. So, you know, high blue stars, even low purple stars was 100% available. And if you were a whale or a kraken or whatever, you could have gotten all the way to like red 1 or red 2 with crypto. I don't know anybody who invested that hard, but I'm sure there's somebody out here that probably did. They bought all the way up to like the $99 pack or whatever for the day, you know, to find your little stuff on the screen. But yeah, so in general, crypto, just a quick update or a quick overview of crypto before we talk about teams with crypto. He is a support. He is a healer. He's got a couple skills here. So again, he's going to heal everybody. His heal is based on his attack, which most of our healers are in this game. So you want to make sure he has a lot of attack in order to get more heal. He's got Therapy Dog. This is really one of the biggest parts that I think makes crypto really good, which is if somebody drops below 50%, he's going to go save them. He's going to go and put a shield around them, heal them up. And then again, this has a cooldown where it can actually fire multiple times in an event if it needs to. So this is a pretty huge skill here. We've got the zoomies, so he's going to go running around and just heal a lot. So again, reducing their attack and then helping out your heroes and stuff. So again, this one is pretty good. He does it throughout the battle, but this is also the reason why crypto does 0 damage. Even though you're boosting that attack, he doesn't actually do any damage. So you do have to remember that when we're talking about different supports. And then again, at the battle start, he's going to get bonus HP. So he's going to be able to survive longer. He's also giving defense and mentality or mental. I don't know exactly what MENT stands for as far as the words, but it boosts up their defense to magic attacks, essentially. So again, this is going to be pretty big. And then with the Superfam, he's also going to be increasing their attack and defense. And again, this is applied globally. So crypto, really good character when it comes to just being a support in the game. But I wanted to kind of take this section just for a second, talk about some potential teams that we see him in. And I'll start with you, GC, just in general. Like, what are you using him with? Has he become one of your new like go-tos being free to play? I know you use Ivy a little bit too, a Joker, but like, what are your thoughts with him before I kind of jump into building out some teams and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm on a young server. We got Superman in the banner for like 2 more days, right? So my main team is still kind of just there with Joker, Bane, throwing crypto in there when I need to, and then I'm using Lex as another heavy hitter. I found it interesting as I was going through Training Simulator and other things like that. My team would get wiped when Ivy was there. I'd switch in, Crypto take over, keep them alive. I'd hit another training level, 5, 6 more deep, switch back to Ivy, and be able to be good there. So I started trying to like say, okay, this must be something situational here. Where is it at? And I've definitely noticed, like, if I'm going up against a Joker mirror, I'm pulling Ivy out. I do not want all of Ivy's vines spreading toxin to my folks. So that's a real quick place that I throw Crypto in. He's been primarily kind of in that model for me where it's situational. If I'm willing to take some power off of Joker and just to have the correct situational healing. Because again, he's not doing any damage. Crypto does no damage. I also really do enjoy double heal build. So I'll run Ivy and Crypto specifically in combat cycles. So right now I've got the big mean tank, killer tank, and my team was getting wiped. And I was like, well, if I can just keep my team alive a little bit longer, even if I lose, I pulled out Red Hood. It's like I'm going to lose some power, but if I keep them alive longer and actually play the whole 2 minutes, and I ended up getting another 11 levels by doubling down. My team still got wiped, almost, except for Crypto and 1 Ivy fine. So at the end, I was still getting ranked milestones because of an Ivy vine. Because again, Crypto does no damage. So that's where I've really found him extremely useful. Is being able to maneuver that way based off of what the other team comp is, whether I'm in combat cycles and the killer tank is just killing my dudes, or if I'm in meta brawl and I notice I get a feeling that it's oh no, you can change your team in meta brawl when you hop in, right? So you can. If it's Joker v Joker, and I'll swap my Ivy out. So that's where I've really been seeing him shine. Again, I don't have Superman, so I'm not getting the global bonus on Superman, but I think that is really powerful. And at my server level, if I was running Superman, I guarantee you I'd be running Crypto too, because that's the only other Superfam character available on my server right now. But I'm not running Superman.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that I've looked at too. So my main team, really that I've used for a while has been the Justice League Dark minus Zatanna plus Superman, and that was my meta brawl team because my Superman is 1 red, so he does a lot of damage, and it just always helped to where if Constantine was targeted, I still had Superman to do some damage. I'll put this out there. I don't know if this is true, but definitely leave a comment if you've noticed this too. My Superman is much weaker since the family came out. I'm not sure if he got tweaked or what, but he used to dominate teams single-handedly. And now he's definitely a lot squishier than I feel like he used to be. So I don't know. I don't know what that is, but definitely if you guys are out there and you feel like you've experienced that, let me know so I don't feel like I'm crazy. But kind of going in there, one of the big problems with Justice League Dark, and this is one of those things where if you're new to the game, a lot of creators, including myself, will say like Justice League Dark is one of the best teams in the game. Not for Meta Brawl. It's still a good team for Meta Brawl, but it's not the tier 1, Meta Brawl team. But in most events and most areas, it can survive everything because of the shields from Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman, the heals from Raven, and then the just pure damage from Constantine. But the problem he struggles with is Deathstroke. So a Deathstroke, because he always has the most power, literally, if it's a good Deathstroke or just a better Deathstroke than what your Constantine is, it's 1 shot. 1 shot, you're dead. And this is something where Green Lantern had his item came out that said at the beginning of the match, you're going to get a shield. And then we realized that shield is like nothing. It doesn't help you whatsoever. And so because of that, Crypto came out, and that's where I've started to remove Superman and put Crypto in here. Right. So now you have, to your point, you have a 2 healer team. Technically, technically. You have a 3 healer team because Dr. Fate's shields are really just a heal in general. So this is something where I feel like is one of my strongest teams because even if you have a Deathstroke, like unless you have him fully invested, you've got like good gear on him and everything, you're not going to one-shot my Constantine, and my Krypto is going to save him with the shield. So that's been one of my favorite teams with Krypto. And I think that that's kind of an amazing plug and play. But I will say, to your point with Superman, there's been a few times where I've taken out Wonder Woman, I've put in Superman, and kind of put in a team like this. So I end up with Superman coming in with more damage. I get that, bonus from Superman here. And in this case, I've been able to kind of like run over some teams just because I get a little bit more damage and boost because Krypto actually moves your Superman stuff up quicker because he moves it up 2 bars every time he uses his ultimate compared to Superman only using 1. And if I had Supergirl, I think the Superman team, the Superfam team, I think is a very good team. I just don't know if it's better than Justice League Dark, and I don't think it's better than the Legion of Doom team, like in Meta Brawl. So I struggle with like, is it worth the investment? I don't know, because Supergirl has to be red to be good. So you're doing a lot of investment with Supergirl and Superman. And then even that, like, I think your Superboy needs to be high blue into purple to really get where you want to go. So I don't know. If
Superboy, is he like a D&D bard? Is he doing buffs and stuff?
Yeah.
I've used him a couple of times. Okay, I couldn't 100% tell. I wish that in the one mode, gosh, you know what I'm talking about.
The darkest
you get
timeline.
5 tries a week.
Yeah.
I wish that, and maybe it's there and I haven't figured out, that I could look at the character stats or look at their abilities in that mode, because it's like I don't have Superboy and I've been getting him in that mode, and I'm just like, is he healing? Is he buffing? I don't see heals going off, but maybe I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry for that aside, but
no, he's your buffer. So he's kind of like a Zatanna, like where Zatanna plays into a role into Justice League Dark. I think the problem though is like Zatanna isn't needed with the Justice League Dark team. I'm not saying like a really good Zatanna is not good, because she is really good. She's actually really good with Joker as well. But I think your Superboy, like, he's more just like super buffs, and realistically the super fam team needs him doing his buffs, needs you getting to your full bars on your Superman buff or your super family buff. So like, I think he's way more important than like where Zatanna can come out. I don't know if he can. I think if you take him out, you feel it much more with the super fam. And again, this is coming from having some chats with Copy, who, to my knowledge, like, I'm sure there's a Kraken out there that's like really fully invested, but like, from my knowledge, Copy is one of the like most invested super fam people. Like his Supergirl is 5 gold stars. His Superman is in the purples, I believe. He's got Superboy in the high blues going into purple. He's got a good Krypto, like, and his Supergirl does a lot of damage. So it's kind of like Supergirl's kind of like his Constantine in that build. So again, I think the team's good, and we don't even know, like, at some point it's going to get a fifth character, and whenever that happens, the team may just be like bonkers. But for now, like I said, I think it's like a tier 2 team. If you're looking at tier 1 being like Justice League Dark, and potentially Legion of Doom, kind of those two being kind of your tier 1, maybe some Nightwing action somewhere in one of those teams. But yeah.
I'm glad that you also called out utilizing Krypto against like Deathstroke and Assassins. Young server, Damian Wayne is about the only assassin that I see. But if I see that little assassin icon pop up, again, situationally is how I'm using Krypto. I'm glad though that he found a good fit into your like existing team with Constantine and everything that you've really enjoyed. And I think it makes a lot of sense, especially at your server level, right? Even having him on your defense teams. I'm not putting him on my defense teams. I'm leaving Ivy in there. I've toyed with that idea, but I think I would switch him on the defense team to Crypto if I saw a lot more
Yeah.
Jokers on my server. But
Yep.
yeah, so I'm not but to that point, we've got 3v3s going on in my server right now. I don't know if that's globally timed or not. And
No,
I love the fact
it's
that
all
I've got
different.
3 healers. It's all
Yeah.
different because we've had other events where I build 3 teams and my third team didn't have a healer. And so I'm
Yeah.
super excited just to have Crypto always taking that second team slot if I'm not throwing him in my first team.
Speaking of healers, I mean, that's one of the other things I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit is the kind of the support tier list. So as we look at this, I wanted to kind of talk through just a little bit. I don't want to take like 30 minutes or anything like that. I want this to be kind of quick as we go through, but there's definitely some really, really good support characters. And, when it comes to tier list, we now have Crypto in here. And it used to be you would just have like Green Lantern was S, nothing was as good as him. But then everybody really started investing in these characters. And we started really seeing some characters kind of coming up, right? So we had Raven. Wow, this is not really going to work very well. We got Crypto coming in, and we're going to move these around as we go. We've got Ivy showing up, right? We've got Mara being good in the free to play. We've got Flash showing up in a few different areas. Zatanna, Vixen. Sorry, you're always down here. You got to have a D.
I didn't even know she was a support, man.
Yeah,
Like I saw her at the bottom with the rest of the supports. And I was like, oh, I'd literally never use her. Like auto pick never picks her up, so I didn't know she was going to be on this list. I'm here like, I've only got 3 support characters unlocked on my account. Oh no, I actually have 4. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's one of those characters where like if Birds of Prey was actually good, maybe she gets better because she's in that team. But Birds of Prey is just missing too many pieces. And Hawkgirl was supposed to be the solution to some of that. But of course, we got Hawkgirl on the beta servers and everybody realized it doesn't matter. You can't help the team yet. So I think there's a potential when she gets her like upgrade to Mythic, they could really rework her to where maybe her Mythic level actually does something. But yeah, I think the only time I've ever used her is Darkest Timeline when I first started because I was like, I'm going to use the whatever tag and I'm going to, use her in that tag to see if I can, beat the tag. But like,
Right.
yeah, then you just learn like, no, just always do Wonder Woman. Always do Wonder Woman, Mara, and whoever your banner character is, and then eventually replace them if you need them for a certain tag. But yeah, so when we look at like the tier list, this was kind of like, again, Crypto wasn't there, but this is kind of where a lot of the stuff fell. But I think honestly, as we've gone through, like this has shifted. I think, you look at characters like Raven, you look at characters like Ivy, and even Crypto, they start to look more S tier. Your Green Lantern starts to drop a little bit. And again, I know I'm going to get hate in the chat down below. But when I think of a tier list, and at some point I will make a tier list for the game in general, because I do like to do tier lists, but I'm just trying to get a feel for all the characters before I go and make statements about them that I don't know. But when it comes to a character like Green Lantern, because he's behind a paywall, I hate to say he's S tier because most people are never going to have like a 5 red Green Lantern, right? Like I think 5 red Green Lantern is probably one of the best just straight healers, one of the best plug and play healers, but like nobody's going to have that. Most people are going to have a 5 white at most. Some people are going to have in the early blues, like 2 blue. And I think at that level, he's fine. And at early meta brawls, you can probably put him in there. But eventually, like these characters are just going to go way above. And even as I'm looking through this, I think like Ivy really ends up being an A because of her issues with if you're facing a Joker. And when you get in the top tiers, like Legion of Doom is one of the best teams and they run Joker. I know Joker is not Legion of Doom, but it's usually 4 Legion of Dooms plus a Joker. in most of the top teams. So like she has a little bit of
That weakness
places.
coming
Yeah, and like you said, you have to take her out occasionally. So I think like you end up like that, and then I think your Flash actually comes up. So do you
Tell me about Flash?
Do you have Flash?
He's a support. No, not yet.
No worries.
He's support. Buffer.
Yeah.
Buffs,
Yeah,
or is he doing heals?
So he does a little bit of heals. He also does some attacks, not great. But his whole thing is his special gives somebody back their ultimate, like instantly gives them a full ultimate.
Oh, so he's like energy generator.
Yeah, so he is
That
a
makes
character
sense with Speed Force. Okay.
Yeah, and you're gonna need him because when you get to CCs and later, like it's Flash continuing to give Joker ultimates.
Ah.
And so you end up like, and you can manually control it. Like he's always going to give it to your highest powered character, but you can also manually do it and make sure you're always giving it to the character you want. And this is how people are getting like 600 million, up to 1 billion damage, which I'll have a video coming out on that next week, doing 1 billion damage in CC because of Joker plus Flash. So Flash is a character you need to keep an eye on, and try to hopefully cross your fingers.
2 shards away.
Yeah.
2 shards away.
So
Maybe
he only
got
he only needs to be 5 white to be able to do his thing. And then of course like a 2 blue, 3 blue would probably be best, but 5 white and you're good to go with him. Within there. So yeah, I think because of that, like Flash is not on your Meta Brawl team most likely. I think he's fine in a Superman team when you're looking for their 5th person, because he's also going to give those ultimates to your Supergirl or Superman. So I think he's good there. But for the most part, Meta Brawl not really showing up too much. Your 3v3, he can definitely show up on a Justice League team or your secondary team or something like that. But definitely you're going to want him with Joker. And I think in order to get those big CC scores, like he's going to be pretty needed in that.
I wonder, you were mentioning utilizing him on a Superfam. I wonder if it would, since you can manually target it, if for the first cast of Flash, if you should hit Krypto, since it counts for twice, just to get to that early 4 soup power range real quick.
Yeah, it could. It could either be that, or again, it could just be going into a Supergirl or a Superman just to do a big shot. But I mean, it is viable to go to a Krypto so you get your 2 bonuses on your little ticker instead of the 1, for sure.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then when you get into your B class, like I think you have situational B class. Like I think Batgirl could be
really
in B class.
I was almost thinking dropping Batgirl down to D. Like, and most of my experience with these are gonna all be from Darklist Timeline, new server, all of that. But like upping crit damage on Bat Fam is like, or crit chance. I don't know which one it is, but it's like I've already got so much crit on Bat Family. Like I need health. So I was.
Yeah, I think that's where like I think she's like C plus B minus. I don't think she's as good as Zatanna or Mara, but I know she's better than Stargirl. But yeah, like it is situational with the team. She's not plugging into any team, but like Nightwing, like you want her with Nightwing so that when Nightwing does his jump and hits people, like you want him to make sure he crits. And he gets all the crit damage and the crit chance and all of that they need. But yeah, it's kind of like, again, I think when you get into these 4, like Zatanna is the same way. She's good. She can boost up some defense and power and stuff like that. But like in most teams, she's the weakest link when it comes to that. But at the same time, like you can throw over Joker, you can throw over Constantine if you want to get that extra damage. Her clone is pretty fine, especially as a decoy and things like that. So like, I think she definitely belongs in B. Some people may say A, but in my opinion, I think she's more B. She is probably in front of Mara, but I think if you're free to play, I think Mara is almost an A tier if you're free to play. Her heal is very good.
She's worth investment, right? Yeah. Like Mara to me, and I think that's part of the reason why she's such an early game acquisition. She is just the the healer, right? Like she's the baseline. You know, you put her dead center, and then you base everything else around her. Just now realizing Stargirl, I have her as well. Did not realize that she did any support capacity. Did a quick look through her abilities, as it seems like, again, like weak bard stuff, which I'm noticing as I talk with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has one role. Her only role is the drowned. So she can remove debuffs, and the drowned in CC will put a bunch of debuffs on stuff. In phase 1, she's helpful, but I don't think she's needed. I think so. Like, you're going to learn this. The drowned is the hardest CC. They've had to modify her multiple times. So I beat her before they did a lot of the modifications, but I literally just like straight up put my most powerful stuff as I possibly could to just kind of brute force through it. But once you get into phase 2 with her, you have to have like Stargirl to debuff, or the debuffs just like kill you and you can't get damage.
Would you say that's the only thing that saves her from dropping down to D, is like her criticality for that one piece? Okay.
Yep.
And I think that's also something very interesting. As we were talking about the tiers, you also like, if we were to be specific about Meta Brawl, or if we were to be specific about combat cycle, right? The tier list change pretty drastically, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
But in general, right? Like generally, what are you looking to invest into, especially if you're a free-to-play player? I kind of like this. I love Krypto being up at the top. To be honest with you, I think Ivy is an A. I think I agree with that. Of course, I am a Joker fan, but I like her. One thing that she secretly does is give extra targets to and pull prio off of certain characters, and sometimes that's all I need. I just need Superman to accidentally ult a Vine. You know?
Yeah, I think when it comes to Ivy, like, again, I think she's like an A+. When I get to tier list, like, I hate that there has to be an S, there has to be a D, there can't be too many S's. You know, when you're looking at like A's, I hate when people are like going through and they're like, I'm gonna have an S+, an S, an A+, an A-, an A. You know, like, I get it. There's all these nuances in there, but then it just gets confusing for everybody. But I do agree with you. I think like the only thing that keeps Ivy, in my opinion, from being an S is the fact that Joker is so many places. It's an early character a lot of people invest in. He's very good. He's in some of the top Meta Brawl teams. So like in most of those events where you see a Joker, you have to pull her out. Whereas if you look at a character like Raven, or you look at a character like even Green Lantern or whatever, like there literally isn't a battle where you're like, oh, that's a hazard. I need to pull him out of my team. And that's her really only downfall. But I agree with you. If you're not going against a Joker, like those vines can 1000% make somebody time out Meta Brawl and you get the win, right? Or you know, you're in an event battle that you're trying to win, and like because those vines are behind them and they're turned around hitting those vines, you're able to beat this level, which is why, again, I think she's A compared to it's funny with all these different tier lists over the last 6 months, like a bunch of these characters like Raven that were so low are now so high because people have invested in them. And I think Ivy was just always one of those that was towards the top because most people got Joker early and they invested in her. But it is always funny just to see as everything moves around. But I'm glad that Krypto is up high and he's going to be easy for free to play because of the event. And again, we'll see what happens for anybody who joins after the event's already gone, or what that looks like of it coming back. But with it being him coming to cubes and all that soon in the future, like that should definitely help. And of course, if he ever makes it into daily deals, like we've done with Raven and things like that, those minimal spenders are going to be able to get some pretty easy shards of Krypto. So, but yeah, so, you know, again, Vixen all the way at the bottom. There's one or two people in Discord that have told me that she's good, but like, you can't tell me that she's better than anybody else on this list unless you're specifically building a very, very particular team. Then maybe I could say, okay, maybe. But But overall,
I think it's like
know.
you said, Birds of Prey needs something added to it to make that team good if Vixen has any shot at coming out of D.
Yeah. So this is where we are with kind of the tier list in general, at least my opinion. I'm going to say it's GC's opinion too, even though he doesn't know about most of these characters. So if you have problems with it, make sure go to his video, comment on that, tell him he's wrong about stuff on my video. You know, so.
There you go.
But anyway,
and I'll appreciate it because I need the tips and I need the learning. So
yeah, absolutely. But anyway, so that's going to wrap us up with the tier list. Like I mentioned here, I think we're going to be eventually over all these videos. I want to do another one where we break down some of the tanks and some of the damage dealers and stuff like that as we go through. Because, you know, again, eventually I'll have a big tier list out, but I think it's cool on these little on the CapeCast on podcasts where we can just take a small portion and deeper dive on it. So if I'm wrong, guys, leave the comment down below too. Just let me know who you think maybe deserves to go up or down. Maybe we said something you agree with that you didn't think about. Leave us a comment down below. With it being said, we are going to be wrapping up here. We're going to have video 2. So as this wraps up, you'll see it. I don't know, over here or over there, you'll see it. It'll pop up on the screen or link down below in the description where you can jump over there. Or if you're listening on the playlist, this should just jump it right to the next video over there with GC, where we're going to be talking just tips and tricks. Lots of really good tips and tricks. I know there are questions, GC, you've been asking me over in Discord and things like that. So I said, hey, let's just throw it in there. Let's talk about it on the CapeCast. And that's what we're going to do over there. So appreciate all you guys for hanging out on this video, and we'll see you over on the next one.